Let's do that keyboard one more time. I'm gonna check some EQ levels here.
Thank you all for being here today. Do you feel like you're at church yet? A little bit? A little bit?
The Lord's Day
okay?
in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
I'm about to release you from something.
Jerry DeWitt owns the pulpit.
Brothers and sisters, let me tell you, this is how valuable you are. I think the universe would hide you in its pockets so that you would never be scratched and never receive a ding or a dent.
I'll tell you what, you're born to preach.
This is natural for me.
You're valuable to the universe.
Sunday, you truly are the king of the world.
When happiness is an option.
For 25 years, he was a Pentecostal preacher in the evangelical South. But listen to this sermon a little closer.
I'm preaching you just like I would have in the old days, just minus a few characters in the story.
There's no mention of God or Jesus.
Can I get a Darwin?
3 years ago, Jerry DeWitt lost his faith.
It felt like living a lie.
And made the hardest choice in his life.
The real heartbreak, soul-crushing heartbreak, was realizing I had to give up the ministry. Even though I've been here my entire life, I'm the outsider due to this one little word called atheism.
DeWitt's painful journey begins in small-town Louisiana.
This is my lifeblood. Our world in Dorita, Louisiana, it is nothing but churches and food. That's it.
So you started playing preacher at age 5.
I did, and I was horrible at it. I was horrible at it. But it came back around about age 17.
Worship Jesus!
Raised in a Pentecostal home where a charismatic preacher blasted from the TV every Sunday.
Worshiping God is never a waste.
I fell in love with Jimmy Swaggart whenever on a Sunday morning the television would be left on at my mom's house. He'd swing the Bible around and the red tassel would fly in the air, and it was just the power of his presence.
His hero fell from grace.
I have sinned against you, my Lord.
But DeWitt was saved and discovered a charisma of his own. By 20 years old, he was married, a father, and soon preaching to overflow crowds of Pentecostals all over the South.
What you're doing is changing the world for the better.
It was euphoria. It was a sense of oneness, family, community, connection.
And in 2004, DeWitt reached spiritual stardom. He was a full-time pastor, even contemplating running for mayor. But privately, his faith was fading.
It was such a slow burn. It had taken literally years to get to that place because I read what I shouldn't read, and I went where I shouldn't have gone, and I studied what I shouldn't have studied.
Swapping the Bible for atheist bestsellers. But it was a desperate call from a congregant where DeWitt had his real awakening.
I got a call from a former church member. Her brother had been in a very severe accident. She was calling me from outside of the emergency room, depending on me for prayer. I'm trying to say things that are comforting to her, and I'm also trying to figure out how I'm going to get out of this box without crushing her. And I just avoided it. I just pretended that I didn't know that's what we were supposed to do.
So you didn't pray with her?
I didn't pray with her, not because it was suddenly against my convictions, my ethics, my morals to pray. It was that the reality is prayer doesn't work.
For DeWitt, as religion became more troubling, atheism looked much closer to the truth. Eventually, in 2011, DeWitt quit preaching altogether. He took a job as a building inspector and hoped to live a quiet life.
And that's when your aunt comes into play.
Right. 85-year-old Aunt Grace on Facebook.
Yes, Aunt Grace spotted a Facebook photo of DeWitt at a gathering of skeptics standing right next to the father of atheism, Richard Dawkins.
I posted this picture of me and my son with Professor Richard Dawkins.
The news that DeWitt had become an atheist sent shockwaves through the community, and the fallout was like a punch to the gut.
You lost it all. Your job, your congregation, your wife left. You lost all your money.
I didn't think it'd be everything.
This is the house that went into foreclosure.
At one point, we literally sat down and began to Google how to live in your car.
Why did you continue down this path?
Because it's right. The only thing that's different is theologically, I no longer believe in God. Outside of that, almost everything is identical.
Abandoned by family and friends, ostracized from his hometown, DeWitt feared for his life after receiving a string of threatening calls.
We completely stopped leaving the house.
It was hard to sleep. I was nervous. I mean, I slept with a knife in my bed just in case, you know.
DeWitt says his 20-year-old son, Paul, who converted to atheism just 2 years before he did, saved his life.
I can say without any doubt whatsoever that had he not been in my life during this time, I don't think I would have made it. I know I wouldn't have made it.
It really upsets me. I mean, it irritates me because I know how much Dad has tried to help people in the community.
So why stay here in Louisiana? Why not go somewhere that's more progressive, open-minded?
If we're going to make things better, we got to make things better where things need to be made better. Ready.
Making things better came in the form of doing what he knows best, starting his own congregation, but this time for atheists.
Community Mission Chapel, we're everything that a good church is, minus the Jesus. That's it. That's it.
I want you to shake the hand of the person next to you.
Was it hard to find a place to hold a service because you're considered running with the devil?
Yeah, I mean, atheist and Satanist is the same thing down here, you know. And that's all we're asking for, is just somebody to give us a chance.
We got limited time. Have a seat.
So for now, a rented home an hour away in Lake Charles, Louisiana, will have to do.
The world's actually getting better.
DeWitt saved his marriage, his house, and is cautiously optimistic about what's next.
And the evidence is that you've got better days ahead of you than what you've got behind you.
You preached today about happiness.
Right.
Are you happy?
I am happy. Yeah. I'm content with a lot of things. I'm extremely happy about the ministry that I now have and the future that holds. So I'm scarred. You know, what you see is you see a scarred smile, and it tells the story.
Ahead, atheism. Here,
There's a lot of atheists that would be very uncomfortable in this environment.